Okay, let's check out Asmongold's first impressions now that he's actually played Dragonflight. Let's see what he has to say.
What's up, boys?
He's in the treehouse again. It's already better. It's already a better video than last time because he's in the treehouse. Let's go.
I want to talk to you about Dragonflight, my first impression.
Wait, my category's been Final Fantasy XIV. Oops. Why, though? I changed it to just chatting. You guys should have told me earlier.
With the expansion and just in general, sit outside for the first time in a long time. Actually, it's been a while since I made a video outside, and so glad to be back again. And I'd like to sit down and talk with you all about my first impressions with the game. Now, before anybody goes and gets too wild, I want to say one thing. Usually, the problems with the expansions do not manifest themselves until a couple of weeks into the first season, a couple of months into the expansion.
Exactly. This is exactly why in my first video I specifically said I'm not even close to being able to recommend the game because, you know, within the first month, it's extremely hard to tell whether or not it's going to be a good expansion. So I'm not even going to be like, oh yeah, guys, the water's great, come on in. It's going to be like, hey, here's how I feel about it right now, but I can't recommend you coming back.
Then you start to see where the problems are. But we're at that good point right now in the game where the truth is that it doesn't really seem like it's that bad. It's actually kind of fun, if you can imagine that. I went through the leveling process. I'm level 70 now. I've gotten a few pieces of epic gear. I've done some of the dungeons. I've gone through some of the reputations. I did all the dragon riding stuff, and I want to talk to you about it today. But I do want to say that this is in no way, shape, or form a review or a comprehensive evaluation of the expansion. It's just simply my impressions of it playing the game. So the first thing is the actual launch of the expansion. I think that in general, the launch went very well for me. I've gotten relatively lucky with launches. And the reason why I say lucky is that there are some servers that just completely got fucked. This happened in BFA, it happened in Shadowlands, it happened in Legion. It happens every fucking time where there's just one server or two servers or a handful of them that is just completely dysfunctional for the first day or two. And
yep. Our server went right down the shitter. There was no boat for the Alliance. Like I said, I heard a bunch of people say that the Horde Zeppelins were working just fine. I've since been told by other people in the comment section, well, not all Horde Zeppelins, but I don't know. Basically, there were a lot of server problems. There were a lot of people that got the world server down problem, and they were not able to connect back to the game. And like I said on my last video, there is no excuse. After the launch of Diablo Immortal, there's no excuse. I won't even entertain anything that anybody has to say. There's no excuse. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's fucking nothing you can say. Because Diablo Immortal had more people playing it when it launched. It was a brand new game, not just an expansion to an existing game. It was cross-play. Keep that in mind. It was not only a brand new launch, it was cross-play, PC and mobile, and it was flawless. It was flawless. So I don't want to hear it. I do not want to, bro, those servers were from NetEase, clearly, not Blizzard. I don't give a fuck. What do you mean? The fuck? What kind of an excuse is that? What kind of an excuse is that? Oh, they were NetEase servers. That makes it okay for World of Warcraft servers to fucking explode? No. It means that Blizzard should have fucking learned something, and they didn't. So no, there's no excuse. There's fundamentally no excuse whatsoever. There will never be excuses for server problems after the launch of Diablo. Period. There's just no excuse. There's nothing. There's nothing you can say. Nobody will convince me otherwise. It's that simple.
Obviously, that's bad, but in general, the launch was relatively smooth for me and what I would say probably the majority of people, outside of some disconnect issues that I think in many cases had to do with joining instances or being on your dragon. So the leveling process, as soon as I got in, was actually very good. I enjoyed the leveling process a lot more than I enjoyed it in Shadowlands and also in BFA. In
Agreed. I've been leveling. I'm currently about to go into the third zone of Dragonflight, and it's been pretty fun. It's the story hasn't really like grabbed me all that much, but at least it's not trying to be like this super in-depth narrative of like, oh, we're going into the realm of death and there's all of this nuance behind Sylvanas and the jailer who was like playing 5D chess, and there's all of these different things. It's just a lot more simple and easy to understand, which due to the way that storytelling works in World of Warcraft, I think it's the better way of going about it. So, I think it's okay, but the exploration more than anything is what I've enjoyed. Flying around the dragon, exploring different areas and whatnot, that's pretty cool.
Legion, I think I probably also enjoyed it more than in Legion. I think that in general, the story they were all told, like each of the different zones were told separately, but they were all part of a greater narrative. I think also one point where, I mean, this is not really a first impressions, this is, I think, a fucking fact, that the in-game cinematics with like the character models and the rigging that they have for facial expressions, etc., and you can see this explicitly with Kalagos, is way better. It is fucking insane how much better it is than it was last expansion, and even
very
more
much
so than the expansion before that.
There's no more of the in cinematics.
It doesn't look as I don't know, as fake,
janky,
I guess you could say, and
no, janky.
It just was really, really good. And I think actually the stories of the different zones was a lot better than what we got in Shadowlands, and I think it was also a lot better.
Another 100% agreed, dude. Like, I remember when I was going through the Shadowlands, and my only thought was like, I don't like these fucking blue-face people. I don't like these fucking vampire people. I don't particularly mind these undead people, but, their leader is fucking Thrall's mom. I don't like her either. And then who were the other ones that are left? Oh, yeah, the tree huggers. I definitely don't like the fucking tree huggers, bro. So I was just like, bro, I don't like any of them. I don't like a single one of them. And I have to do all of these quests. Like, I remember it was even during Bastion where I instantly stopped doing side quests. Like, that's how bad it was for me. Bastion, which is the first zone that you go to. I was like, yep, I'm done doing quests here. Just give me like the basic story quests and I'll be on my way, bro. And in Dragonflight, I'm still doing every side quest I find. Not necessarily because I'm like super engrossed in doing the side quests. It's more so because, the zone is enjoyable. Like, I like hanging out here. Sure, I'll do another quest. I don't mind. This is all right. Right? And in Bastion, I was like, I fucking hate this zone. I fucking hate these people. I fucking hate everything about this. Get me to the next zone. Then I get to the next one, and I'm like, I fucking hate everything about this zone too. Get me to the next one. Then I get to the next zone. This zone fucking blows too. God damn, there's not one good zone in this fucking expansion. Jesus Christ.
And what we got outside of probably BFA, besides maybe the Jaina storyline and the Drusvar arc, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Other than that, I think that it's been a massive step up in terms of narrative storytelling, in terms of showing the characters in the world actually like interacting with each other. The cinematics are better. The dialogue is better. I would say that just in pretty much all cases, it's a massive improvement. I think one of the best examples of why I think that it's very good is that, like, whenever you're doing the first zone and there's like this dwarf that's like sitting off, like looking out into the distance, and you go through and you do a bunch of dialogue with him, and then after you finish the dialogue,
stay a while
you
and
unlock
listen.
a special quest to do for him. Well, the thing is that whenever there was a post about this, everybody responded to the post saying how great it was and how much they liked it. And in general, they knew who this dwarf was and they thought that it was a sympathetic story in a way that they were able to relate to and respond to. And I think that's really impressive because whenever I think back to a lot of the main characters,
I did that quest. That quest is indeed really, really cool. And I'm not going to tell you what that quest is about, but I'd recommend people check it out. It's in the, if you are playing the game, it's in the Ruby Life pools. There's a dwarf just sitting looking into the distance, and I think his quest is called Stay a While or something like that. It's pretty nice.
in Shadowlands, I honestly don't give a fuck about any of them. I think they're stupid, they were pointless, and the character development was generally awful, besides Denathrius, who was a fucking gigachad. Everybody else sucked. So anyway, besides that, I would also say that just dragon riding throughout the entire expansion reminded me a lot of Cataclysm. I know this is going to be one of my more hot takes. I actually really enjoyed Cataclysm. I think that's for a lot of reasons outside of video gaming, though. You know, like where I was in my life, what I was doing, etc. How old I was. I think that's probably a bigger reason why I enjoyed Cataclysm more so than the content, but nonetheless, I did enjoy Cataclysm, and it reminded me a lot of that, being able to fly around after just being part of the zone just right then, actually, with Cataclysm, and I really enjoyed that, and I really liked being able to learn dragon riding, and also, like, collect the little dragon symbols and the tokens that like make your dragon fly faster, and do all
Dragon
those
glyphs,
things, and then
yeah.
learning the nuances of it and doing the advanced trials. Now,
And the best part about the dragon glyphs, I believe I've mentioned this in my video as well, but the best part about the dragon glyphs is the way that they are placed in the world. You don't really need an add-on to find them. I know that a lot of people go through add-ons or they go to Wowhead, look up the locations of the dragon glyphs and all of that. There's achievements in game that track where the glyphs are, so you can just go to your achievements, find out where the glyphs are. You can even put them to track alongside your quests so that you know which zones you still have to like go to. I mean, like sub-zones inside the main big zones. They'll tell you like, oh, this one's around this area, this one's around that area. Then you go there, and when you're close enough, your dragon will actually roar, indicating that there's a glyph nearby. And then you can just like start looking up, because usually the glyphs are high in the sky. And then you will organically find the glyphs, and that is just like a really cool part of exploration, and you're actually going out and finding them yourself as opposed to having a fucking add-on dictate how you play the game. Which, hey, if that's the way you like playing the game, that's fine. Whatever, do you. But like, I would definitely, in my opinion, if you're playing Dragonflight, you should try to enjoy those moments of discovery.
I think that it's very enjoyable, and it's just straight up fun. And
Mistralo, the best part of Cataclysm is that it gave us Dark Souls Rurikhan. You have no idea how true that actually is. Because due to the fact, I never even thought about that, but you are 1,000,000% right. Due to the fact that I quit playing World of Warcraft during Cataclysm, that is what led me to buying a Wii and then playing through Zelda and the Twilight Princess, where I was like, oh, this video game has boss fights too. And I'm not dependent on 24 other people to complete the boss fight. It's just me and my skill. This is great. And then eventually I was like, I want more like this. Except the Wii didn't have a whole ton of that. The Wii was much more just like filled with shovelware all over the fucking place. So instead I was like, oh, I should buy one of these other consoles. And I bought a PlayStation 3 because it had Demon Souls, and rest is history.
I think that Blizzard focusing more on fun and just adding content into the game that is enjoyable, that people want to do an interface with, I think this is just such a much more sustainable model for development versus trying to create people that are, like they're logging in every day to do their Torghast or to do some sort of calling quest or some fucking bullshit because of some system that if you get behind on.
Aren't there calling quests in Dragonflight? Are there not going to be calling quests? Because I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm pretty sure there will be calling quests, right? Anyway,
you lose your raid spot with, or you can't get into pugs anymore because you don't have it. I think that the shift away from that, and even Ian, I think, talked about this in the Preach video, the Mike Preach Wild, by the way. I would massively recommend watching this video. It's over an hour long and it's worth every minute.
It's very good,
But
yes.
he actually even referred to it as the AP era. You have artifact power, Azerite power, and anima power. That was the AP era. And that's basically something that they are saying, this is behind us. We're not going to do this anymore. And thank God for that. What a massive relief. And I think that the focus on just a more relaxed tone, I like the storylines in the game. I think they're more interesting. I think they're more personal. I think that that's one of the things that really has been missing with WoW, is having characters that you feel a personal connection to. And I think that with Shadowlands, not with Shadowlands, with Dragonflight, I think that's much more evident and it's much more clear. And I think that having the better rigging for those characters helps humanize them that much more, even whenever they are dragons. So yeah, quests were great, leveling experience was great. It was also very fast. I would say leveling was faster than it was in previous expansions, and I definitely appreciate it.
I'd definitely say so, because I still haven't set foot in the third area and I'm already max level. And there's supposed to be like 4 areas, I believe. So considering that I'm still like doing things in the second area and I'm already max level, yeah, it was pretty friggin' fast.
That I don't really want to go through and spend a whole lot of time leveling my character for the 18th time or something like this. And
I don't understand this thing that a lot of people have against leveling. They're like, I hate leveling. Leveling sucks. And it's just like, leveling in modern MMO expansions is barely even a thing. Like, you barely even have to think about leveling. Like, for instance, I remember when people went through Endwalker, and there were like 1 or 2 people that made it all the way and they didn't get to max level. And I'm like, bro, did you do literally like 1 fate? Or like, I don't know, literally something else that can give you experience besides the MSQ? But still, it's like, for most people, they then patched it so that if you just did the MSQ, you would get max level. So all you have to do is the story, and that's it. Leveling is okay, but it is boring and annoying if you have to repeat it. You're not really repeating it, though. That's the thing. Like, why are you repeating it? Because, for instance, you leveled your character from 50 to 60, right? In Shadowlands, you go from 50 to 60. And now in Dragonflight, you're going from 60 to 70. It's not the same thing. It's 2 completely different experiences. And because to me, I just don't understand this rush of wanting to be max level. Because like in my case, like I said, I'm max level. Doesn't mean anything. Because I still have to get through 2 more zones to get to the end of the game. I could have been going through those zones at level 65 as opposed to level 70, and nothing would change. I don't understand this rush. I gotta be max level now. Why? It's so weird. Let people enjoy the game how they want. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just asking why. I don't understand. The thing is, I just don't understand why people say I don't like leveling. So they'll rush they're like, oh, I'm level 70 now. And then they'll do the rest of the story quest as level 70. It's like, well, what's the big difference? I don't get it. It's just weird.
I also like how leveling ends and then you can.
Oh, if you're talking about alts, I can understand. I don't consider alts because I don't really play alts anymore. I kind of quit on alts. I guess it makes sense. If you're talking about repeating it on alts, yeah. Yeah, I can see that, yes. But like on your main character, because like the reason I say this, because I have a friend who does this on his main character. He's like, oh, I need to be level 70. And then he was doing the rest of the story quest as level 70. And I'm like, you're still doing the same shit. You could be doing that at 65 and it wouldn't have made a difference. Are you specifically calling out Q? I'm not sure what you're talking about. No.
Continue doing the storyline, but you don't have to right away. You don't have to do that.
Do you think leveling is engaging? I mean, I think it's about as engaging as anything else that you do in an MMO. I mean, let's put it like this. Getting your 50th piece of loot is more engaging than leveling through the zones for the first time? Like playing a zone for the first time or getting your 50th piece of loot for your character? Which one is more meaningful? Because I already know that for a lot of people, they'll say, well, of course, getting the 50th piece of loot in my character. But to me, it's like experiencing a zone for the first time is more meaningful than getting my 50th piece of loot. You understand? There's just like, I just feel like I have a very different mentality when I'm going through an MMO. Like, to give you guys an idea, last night, I wasn't really planning on doing a Mythic Zero last night, but I logged on, I was talking to Q, and they were like, oh yeah, let's go do our first Mythic Zero, let's do it right now, let's go. And I was like, fine, sure, let's go. And I go in there. Now, the recommended item level, I've been told, I don't know because I haven't even checked, but I've been told the recommended item level for Mythic Zeros is 372. My item level is 302. I was 70 item levels below the recommended item level for Mythic Zero. Now, those are usually way bloated because they want people to be super comfortable when they're doing Mythic Zero. So is it impossible to do it at my item level? No, it's perfectly fine. It just requires you to be a lot more aware, have better use of your cooldowns, and you can do it. But it is a little bit more sweaty and try hard. And it's just like, what's all this rush to just like, oh, let's go max level, Mythic Zero, go. And I'm just like, I haven't even seen what the third area of the game looks like. I'm not like chomping at the bit here to begin grinding for gear. Let me experience the rest of the game at a reasonable pace.
You can go do something else after you actually hit max level at 70. And I also find that very much appreciated because I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go out and do the mythic dungeons and, fuck around, exploit some mobs. It was a good time. I got 379 weapons out of that.
Oh yeah, he was exploiting mobs, of course, because that's the first thing that Asmongold does. He was like manipulating the loot tables by bringing in players that couldn't loot things or whatever it was, and just like getting fuck tons of loot from world bosses.
Hopefully Blizzard doesn't take those away from me. So yeah, I had a really good time doing that. And I think in general, the philosophy around providing tools for the player to have fun with, but not telling them how to have fun, has been a massive improvement. And I've really enjoyed it a lot. And overall, I think the leveling experience has been the best it has been in a long time. And it's very overdue. So yeah, leveling experience, absolutely S tier, amazing. Cinematics, huge improvement, the best they've pretty much ever done in terms of, you might not enjoy the actual cinematic, the subject matter of the cinematic, but I think that if you look at the way that the characters are moving and the designs and everything like that, I think that this is also the best it's ever been, and that's great to see. Dungeons, I think that in general, I've enjoyed the dungeons. They're fine. I am a little bit exhausted from, you always, like, this is like a thing now with WoW, and like every time that you do a mythic dungeon, like every trash mob has like 3 separate abilities, and it can be a bit exhausting to do with that, like throughout the entire dungeon. I don't know how that's going to feel on Mythic Plus. I think that a lot of the dungeons that people are steamrolling.
Exhausting on Mythic Zero? Come on, bro. I mean, we got our face beat up by the boss that does a lot of fire AoE because we didn't have that much damage, so we had to run around the whole fucking arena while the boss was just like burning the whole thing to the ground. But it was, other than that, like the first Mythic Zero we did was Ruby Pools, by the way. It was didn't even feel that hard. People complained that I wasn't using Ignore Pain. They don't know that I don't like Ignore Pain. I'm like, I don't like ignoring pain. I like feeling it. Lets me know I'm alive. And provides me with a lot of rage. No, actually, I don't think it does anymore. Warriors still get rage from getting hit? I forget. I think they nerfed that. Trash having 34 mechanics is just annoying. The trash that I did on that Mythic Zero didn't have 34 mechanics.
And thinking are very easy in Mythic Zero. think they're going to be in for a very rude awakening in Mythic Plus, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe that's just my own opinion. But overall, I've really had fun playing the expansion. Dragon riding has been a lot of fun, and I hope they continue to make more content out of it. And I think there's one really good.
Yeah, let me tell you guys something about dragon riding. Right, I spent a bunch of time in the Dragon Isles doing dragon riding, and then at one point I was like, okay, I need to go to Stormwind to sell some stuff on the auction house because I don't have a longboy, because none of you guys wants to give me 10 million WoW gold so that I can have a longboy. Nobody ever wants to give me a longboy, so I don't have one. But it's like, so I went to Stormwind to get on the auction house, and when I had to fly on a regular flying mount, I was like, bro, what is this? Ugh. Ew. I don't want this. What do you mean? It's like, imagine if you had just eaten a gorgeous steak for lunch. You had an amazing steak. And then at dinner, they serve you like a fucking McDonald's cheeseburger. And you're like, bro, what's this? The fuck is this? That's what it felt like. It feels like such a terrible downgrade. The regular flying. After you do dragon riding, regular flying is just such a massive downgrade. I was like, bruh, no. I never want to do that again. They serve you one of Asmongold's steaks? Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, it was so bad. And here's the thing. I just had to fly from the Mage Tower to the auction house. And I was like, no, I don't want this.
Way to make more content out of it.
And that's how you know that Dragon Ride, at least for me, that's how you know that a feature is really good, is when you have to go back and do it the old way. And you're like, no, ugh.
Is to just add dragon riding to the entire game.
Yes.
And then just let people choose whether they want to use dragon riding or normal flying mounts. There's a lot of
for all the weird people that want to use regular flying, y'all can go ahead and go use regular flying for all I care. Give me dragon riding.
Value in using a normal flying mount, because you can just simply tab out, jerk off, come back into the game, and you're already where you need to be. Or you're 10 feet out or 10 miles out into the great ocean and you're dead and you have to take res sick. One or the other, it's either way something that is very convenient. So what I'm really trying to say is that I hope they add dragon riding and they add a little bit more of those different little time trials and the flying missions around the open world. And
that'd be sweet.
In Azeroth and maybe Outland, Northrend, etc. I think the entire player base seems to really enjoy, well, almost the entire player base. There's never everybody that likes them.
Actually thinking about this, it's got me wondering. Like, considering that, and again, I haven't played throughout the entire campaign, so please no spoilers, but considering that one of our objectives, and this is something that they revealed before you even get into the campaign, so this is not spoilers or anything, but considering that one of the objectives is potentially going to be to help the dragon aspects regain their powers, could it be that after we help them regain their powers, they would then go back and try to, like, heal the destruction that Deathwing caused in Azeroth? And that could be something that they do, and it changes the world of Azeroth again. And that would be when dragon riding would be enabled for us to go back to Azeroth and dragon riding style. Who revealed this to you? Toddy Whiskers? Bro, don't get me started on the name Toddy Whiskers again, please. I'll just freaking end myself.
But many people really seem to enjoy dragon riding, and I'll be honest, I'm one of them. I think it's great. There's been a lot of people I see out there. Oh my god, I thought that was a wasp. Oh my god. All right, so anyway, it was not. It was a moth. So yeah, I think a lot of people like dragon riding, and it's been enjoyable. The classes are fun to play, and it really is just going to depend on kind of how things evolve and how Blizzard changes the game and makes it different after the first line of feedback is received, after the first expansion or season comes out, and we really start to see the nuts and bolts of the game, and we get to actually play it to its full potential. I think that's really where the expansions become truly tested, is how do these functions work whenever they're actually put in a competitive environment? How do they work whenever people are using them regularly and the honeymoon period is worn off? That's what's really going to define whether Dragonflight is a good expansion or not. But I think the actions that Blizzard has already taken with Dragonflight and the way that they've taken those actions indicates that they really do want to make the game better for the players. And I do not really say that lightly. I think that in many cases that hasn't been the case. And for some people who are doomers, I will absolutely throw you guys a bone. It is absolutely indefensible to not have the creation catalyst available on week 1 for season 1. And I think it's fucking ridiculous. They should just let people get their tier gear, and then that's that, and it's not a big deal. If you're worried about people quitting the game after they get their tier gear, that's a problem with the game, not the tier gear. So
fucking thank you. Jesus Christ, there's more to the video game than collecting loot. Why is it that everybody's so fucking obsessed? Oh, you can't have them gear up too fast. They might have too much fun. People will have too much fun if they gear up too fast. And then they'll leave. So let me try to understand your logic there, Timmy. You're trying to tell me that if people gear up too fast and they're having too much fun, somehow in your brain, this will cause them to leave. As opposed to the situation we've had in the past where people can't loot worth a damn and they fucking quit. Lord have mercy. Imagine being able to gear up more than one character. Holy shit.
General, I do think that there are some things that Dragonflight can absolutely improve on. Things like making Soar for Drakthir not as good. I don't really see the value in this. It was very stupid for them to do that, in my opinion. But overall, I think...
Yeah, it's like, I don't understand why, because here's the thing. Soar is basically dragon riding without a mount. I don't even play a Drakthir, and I wouldn't want them to get that shit nerfed. I mean, you're dragon riding without a mount. That's it. So long as the vigor is tracked the same way that you track vigor with dragon riding, like, why do they need to nerf it? Let them fly. They have fucking wings. Who cares? Some people fly around in dragons. The Drakthir can choose if they fly around in dragons or if they fucking fly around their own wings. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? Nobody cares. And anybody who does care, it doesn't fucking matter. Expand Sword to also work on Druid Flight Form and Dragon Isles? No. That's where I draw the line. Fuck them Druids. And let me tell you why. When I was slaving away in the maw, slowly walking between my objectives, in would come the Druids in their travel forms. They're like, choo-choo! Choo-choo! It's like, choo-choo, motherfucker? No sword for you. Choo-choo, no sword for you. That's what I have to say. Fuck them Druids. And the shamans, too. And anybody else who has a goddamn travel form that I might not be aware of. Fuck them all. I remember when I was slaving away at the mall, nobody cared about my warrior ass being slow. They're all just having a good time in their little travel forms. No. Exactly, like Avatar Blade says, they've had their bullshit instant travel form privilege for way too long. Not to mention, Druids get to fly around, run around, and like, they get to gather nodes without even leaving flight form. Like, what the fuck is this? Gathering from the air. The fuck is this bullshit? No. You get nothing. You get absolutely nothing. That's a good one, Jonathan Borg. I hadn't heard that one before. Submitting a DK in Shadowlands, the mall made me want to do an Epstein backflip. That's a good one.
Think that a lot of the changes that have been made to the game have been made on such a foundational level that I've always said that an expansion, in order to make WoW a good game again, it will not take an expansion, it will take 2 or 3. It seems as though Dragonflight could be the first one. We have a long way to go. I'm glad Blizzard has started listening.
Wait, I missed that last part. I was reading chat. Sorry.
Making SOAR for Drakthir not as good. I don't really see the value in this. It was very stupid for them to do that, in my opinion. But overall, I think that a lot of the changes that have been made to the game have been made on such a foundational level that I've always said that an expansion, in order to make WoW a good game again, it will not take an expansion, it will take 2 or 3. It seems as though Dragonflight could be the first one. We have a long way to go. I'm glad Blizzard has started listening, and I hope they continue to listen, and I hope people can enjoy the game and give good feedback as well on how to make it even better. So yeah, I've enjoyed Dragonflight a lot. I've had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun at the beginning of Shadowlands too, and also at the very beginning of BFA, less so with Legion. But in general, there's always going to be that early honeymoon phase for the game where you enjoy it and you have fun, and it's nice to be in one of those right now. I hope it lasts for as long as possible, and I hope that whenever it wears off, we'll at least have a decent game whenever we can actually look back and see what's really going on. And if we don't, I hope Blizzard listens and can improve it as soon as possible rather than waiting to withhold changes for content later on. So yeah, that's in general the way I feel about Dragon.
I think that when it comes to Dragonflight, one of the most important things that Blizzard needs to do at this point is to allow players to leave the game on a high note. You understand? I think that a lot of people don't get that part. So like, if you play Final Fantasy, I mean, at least in my case, when I play Final Fantasy 14, if at any point in time, ever since I began playing, I felt like taking a break, I would be leaving the game on a high note, because I would be leaving the game with the feeling of like, I had fun, it was a really good time, I enjoyed myself, and now I'm kind of done. And you know, the game's not forcing me to do anything, I just kind of don't feel like playing, so I'm going to take a break, and I'll come back later and check it out, because I had a good time. That is leaving on a high note. It is leaving while you're still enjoying the game. And every single time that I've left World of Warcraft, ever since my big, wasn't technically a break because I essentially quit the game for the longest time, it was years, in Cataclysm, every single time I try to come back to the game, I leave on an extremely low note. On a very low note. A note of being like, I couldn't do the things I wanted to do, and it wasn't because I didn't know how to do them. It was because my class was shit, the upgrades that I was trying to get, I couldn't fucking get them. The systems were trying to get me to do things that I didn't fucking want to do, and you just leave on a low note. Like, Shadowlands was the culmination of that. Like, Shadowlands was definitely the culmination of that, because it was like, dude, here's 20 hours of fucking chores that you don't want to do in this miserable fucking place because we want you to feel miserable. And it's like, look, I get it. You're making hell, but please understand, this is still a video game. I don't want to feel like I'm in actual fucking hell. And that's what they made, the most immersive version of hell you could possibly make. Because when you were down there, doing your fucking dailies, slaving away, it definitely felt like fucking hell. It felt so bad. Like, it was impressive. It was they literally succeeded on immersion on a level that I never even thought possible. They're like, hey, we made hell, and it's gonna feel like hell when you're down there. And I was like, yeah, it did. Success. I fucking hate it. Good job. And they're like, we're gonna make you spend 20 hours a week down there. Like, yeah, good. I mean, not 20, but it would be like 10 hours or so, and then a bunch of other hours in the world doing world quests and other bullshit that you had to go do. And it's like, we're going to make you spend like 20 hours of absolute misery. And when I quit, I was like, bro, again, I left on a fucking terribly low note. Because I'm like, I just want to be left alone to do Mythic Plus and raids, and you can't even do that. That's all I wanted to do. I just want to be left alone to do Mythic Plus and raids. And you're like, no, you're gonna go to the mall and you're gonna fucking grind to get your fucking sockets so that you can be good and have good gear and all this other bullshit, and then you're gonna get your anima power and level up your renown with your covenant. And I'm like, I don't even like these fucking covenants, bro. I don't like a single one of them. I think they all fucking suck. If I could, I'd nuke the Shadowlands, murder everybody in there. Except it wouldn't even be murder because supposedly they're already dead. How the fuck would I even go about deleting the Shadowlands? I can't nuke it because everybody's already there. Where the fuck are they going to go? To the mall? Can I nuke the mall? What happens then? You just delete that whole fucking expansion from existence? It's stupid. But yeah, I left on a pretty bad note. And whenever you leave a game on a bad note, you never want to come back. There's always a very high resistance to coming back because, like, your brain remembers, no, we had a terrible experience last time. Why the fuck would you want to come back? And that's what Blizzard needs to learn more than anything, I feel like, is letting players leave on a high note rather than fucking chaining them down to mechanics and systems, which is still the thing that I'm waiting to see when it's going to happen. I'm still waiting to see when Blizzard's going to reveal the system that's the old ball and chain, because it always happens.
Dragonflight. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about it, but to be completely honest, the sun is going down and it's going to be dark in about 5 or 10 minutes, so I'm going to end the video here. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I will be playing through pretty much everything on Dragonflight on Twitch, obviously, you guys see on the YouTube videos, etc. So I will be doing more of that, so I'll see you guys there. I had to end stream early today, so I figured I would do one of these instead. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.
That was a good video. That was a good discussion, I feel like. Guys, make sure to give the video some watch time. Hit it up with a like. It's good stuff from Asmon. And yeah, watch it in the background or something and leave a like. Good. And I'm going to be playing some World of Warcraft now.